Alright guys, so yesterday was Halloween, but not only was it Halloween, yesterday me and my family actually got a tour of the Funimation Studios. So I did take some video footage of it, so I'm going to show you, and then at the end of the video I'm going to show you some pictures that I took. So yeah guys, I hope y'all enjoy this. Also, I want to give a big thank you to Justin Cooke, who was actually our tour guide. He's done voices for a lot of animes, such as he was the voice for Super Boo, Dende, and Raditz on Dragon Ball Z. And he was Yusuke in Yu Yu Hakusho, and many more. But yeah, I just want to give a real big thank you to him because he was really cool and a really nice guy. So now let's get into the footage.
So it's a bit of a challenge on the voice director's part because he really does have to know how all the actors are going to read all the lines before they come in. We can do what we call pickup lines, which are after the episode's completely recorded. We may want Todd to come back in and re-record a few lines to better fit within what's happening. But most cases, directors like Tyler, who's been here for a little more than 10 years now.
The one who plays Watson?
Yes, that's right.
He plays a lot of characters, I know.
He does. He's a bit of a pro. So and Tyler's real good at kind of trying to minimize those pickups. So really, he's got the whole show memorized before they ever start on the first episode. They'll work on usually 6 to 7 episodes at one time. They'll usually finish up that many episodes in about 2 weeks. So they're moving at about 2 to 3 episodes a week as far as what we're completing.
Actually, what is awesome.
And once we decommission them from advertising for other conventions, we bring them.
Is this flash for me?
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, and just push it until the little lightning bolt thing comes on.
You're standing right there and I'm trying to get it on.
It's a sideways one, time we get a...
You're making standing there.
I'm just going to stay since...
Look at Joe, he's like, yes, I'm at Funimation, everyone. Look at me.
This one's cool too.
Jordan.
I probably don't need flash for this one. I think I just take a picture of my foot.
Guys, we'll walk on into Studio E here. Feel free to walk on.
Oh my god.
Isn't this one of Disney shows right here?
Oh, wait, I'll come and get some.
Yeah.
Here, Renee.
Come on in, fill up the room, guys.
Yeah.
Like this way, into that way. Plenty of
Slide on
room.
in. So everyone, this is Mike McFarlane. Mike McFarlane's been working for us since, quite frankly, the inception of Funimation here in Texas, so since '98. He came in and started, I guess, by auditioning, and ended up being the role of Master Roshi in Dragon Ball Z, and he's been a number of characters in just about every show we've done since that time. He's been the voice director for Full Metal Alchemist, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. He was the voice director for Attack on Titan. He helped us out on nearly 5 seasons of One Piece.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball, Trinity Blood, Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
I mean,
Eden
really,
of
the
the
lists
East,
go on and on. He
Evangelion
produced
movies.
the Eva movies. He produced all of Basilisk, as well as Oran High School Host Club. Italia. There you go. So Mike's
That
really
one
kind
right there
of
is
had
so
his fingers in a lot of the pies for a lot of the flagship properties of Funimation. So this is a unique opportunity, and although we don't get to show you a little bit of a recording session, you do right now have Mike's complete and total attention. Are there any questions you may want to ask him about voice acting or about how the cast is? How do we pick these actors and all that kind of stuff?
Did you go over the process of what happens?
We kind of went through it a little bit. Now, they didn't have any of the machines open, so they didn't see it.
I can
so
show you guys
some of the
as far as
scripts
what
and all
happens
that.
here. Come on around this way. We'll make a little bit easier. Director in one of these chairs and an engineer in another chair. The engineer's computer is off right now, but it's going to have a Pro Tools session and stuff like that. This is all the recording gear over here. This is my little area over here. I'm going to have the picture of what animation is we're recording to. We're going to bring up a script. We keep all this on our gigantic network of 500 billion scripts and shows and stuff that we work on. So I'll just bring up Attack on Titan. So we have translations for Attack on Titan, the preliminary scripts that are turned in, which are based off of those translations, and then what I end up recording with my notes, etc., is here. So this is what one of our scripts looks like. There's the cast there, a little description of the episode. And then this down here is the important part. This is the stuff that we record every day. We have line numbers so that we can name everything and label everything, like, hey, I need you to find line 7. Hey, we're going to record line 15. Second row is the character names, so we know that it's Armin talking and not Aaron or Mikasa or anybody like that. This row here, this is the time code. For when you watch a movie, the time code, they break things down into 1/24th of a second. For video, it's just about 1/30th of a second, so there's just a couple more frames per second. We have it marked down to those individual frames so that the second that someone's mouth starts moving or something explodes on screen or whatever, we have the exact moment that it happens.
We used to work out of a different office building. We used to work over North Richland Hills. You guys know where that is? Down the way? Just a little bit? Yeah, kind of. Okay. Anyway, there's a bank building down there that we used to have the second floor of that we worked out of. And so it was just regular office space. And so we didn't have studios like the ones you were just in, which were actually custom made for this building. Believe it or not, those rooms you were in are actually rooms within rooms. And then the studio is within a third layer of that. They're actually on a different foundation block than the rest of the building. So if the whole building was to shake, those rooms would be insulated from that shake. But before then, we used to use, like Mike was calling, whisper rooms. Now, oh, it's locked. I have a key. The voice actress who plays the character Luffy from One Piece.
He's also Urso. Oh, she's also Urso, right? From Fairy Tail, yeah.
That's right. This is the studio she runs. She'll be back in on Monday. But if you'd like to take a little bit of a look, you can squeeze around the corner here. These are the rooms we used to and still do record out of, but this is a whisper room, and this is what the example. So you can see it's far smaller, but it is mobile. We can move it from room to room as necessary, and we've currently got 4 of the studios that are running with these whisper rooms. The technology, all the equipment is just the same as it is in the other rooms, and the sound quality that comes out is about the same. But as you can feel, it's a little warmer, and it's not as comfortable. So, there you go.
She got him the ping pong table.
Okay, I'm getting ready to the yard. I better come on.
Talking into a microphone. So, whereas, for instance, Super Boo, you heard me kind of do my voice for him. Well, you'll remember from the anime, his voice is deeper than that. Well, that's because the mixer will put different effects on it that kind of help to create that feature tone. And these are the rooms that this happens in. There are 5 of these mix rooms that line this hallway here. You guys can come on in, we'll squeeze everybody in. But basically, the guys take most stereo files for the Japanese cartoons that we get in, and they create a 5:1 mix that can be either utilized for a theatrical mix or for your regular DVD and Blu-ray releases that come out. They take care of all of the broadcast mix out of these rooms, and so that's why you see the 5 speakers and the sub. We've got one that's wired for 6:1, which we've done our Ava movies in, which has an extra speaker at the backside. So really, in a room like this, you can see all the walls are angled, okay? That helps with sound displacement, so you don't get an even bounce of the sound, and your bass trap there you'll see. So that's why these rooms are kind of an awkward angle. It's so that we can try to minimize deflection of sound, and the guy sitting right here, where all the speakers are facing, gets that true audio sound of what it is that's coming out of the mix, and ultimately what will be coming out of the DVD and Blu-ray. To see...
There goes Jack. Somebody drew Jack.
So this room here is where all of production begins and where all of production ends. So these decks here fit the type of tape that we get from Japan. You'll see the small one and the large one. Those are, if you remember back in the days where there used to be VHS tapes, there also used to be a Betamax tape, which has a higher quality. Well, in the production world, we still use those beta tapes. They're now HD cams, so that we get all our full HD resolution, 1080p, that comes through so we get a nice clean picture. But, so that we can work on them in the booths and in the mix rooms and things like that, we need smaller files so that we can move a little faster through the recording sessions. If we're toting around a 50 gig file with us on every time we're needing to record a scene, it's going to take forever to load that piece of video up. And we need to move a little faster. So, they convert all the video that comes from Japan into a smaller video format that works with all of our codecs on the individual rigs. It goes up through those very patriotic colored wires into the sky, and those carry this video signal all the way to the recording rooms, to the mixing rooms. It carries it to the translators, it carries it to the writers, so everybody's working off of the exact same video. That way all the time code points stay the same. Also, when we finish our mix, we'll send that audio right back through those magic wires. They'll run it through these machines with the original video tapes, and that way we get the high quality sound with the high quality video. that's how that works. That's that come in from Japan for all of our shows, is also to work with his team to create our English credits. Now the first thing he has to go through and do is get rid of all the kanji. Now in some instances, lucky instances, we'll receive what we call text list openings and closings from Japan, where the writing's just simply not there. But there's a lot of instances, Dragon Ball Z included, where Jeremy's team has to go through and actually digitally erase all the kanji and then draw back in whatever was behind it. So in some of the animation work that you're talking about, I know it's not necessarily original animation work, but I mean really the guys are almost reanimators. Also with things that are going off to broadcasters, and we can't have some of that violence that's in there, you know, somebody gets punched and blood comes out of their mouth, they'll go through and erase the blood. They may change it to like a white colored spit or saliva color kind of a thing if they need to. They'll get rid of excess blood on someone's face and kind of turn it into like a slight scarring or an abrasion or scratch. They'll tone back some of the violence for Attack on Titan if Cartoon Network doesn't want to, you know, truly watch someone completely be devoured. So all those kinds of things these guys are working. Jeremy has been here now for 15 years, coming up on 15 years. And so he's certainly an old hat around here, and he knows really all the ins and outs. What's really neat is to work with guys who have been working with folks like Cartoon Network for 15 years, because they can immediately know, yeah, that's not going to pass, or yeah, that'll go through. So these guys have such an intimate knowledge with all of that, all our video processing, that each time we go through and make new changes for a new media like Blu-ray, whatever's going to be the next new thing, all the digital video work, these guys are really kind of troubleshooting all of that. 4K, there it is. So they're troubleshooting all of that to try to make it look better. He's led a lot of the initiatives, like with Dragon Ball Z being remastered for Blu-ray and a lot of those kinds of things. So at any rate. So you hear things like Disney talking about the vault, you know, that kind of, you ever heard that kind of language when talking about?
The movies back in the vault?
That's right, where they put the movies back. So we've got one of those too. And with you guys knowing so many of the shows we've worked on over the years of being in business, I thought it'd be kind of neat to kind of walk through the vault on our way to the art department.
Alright. Check out that Dragon Ball, Joe.
Where can I get one of those at?
They're from the...
Kind of make your way through, and all is going to go to the same door, so you don't have to follow anybody. If you want to break off and see what's down an individual row of shelves, yeah, feel free.
So in charge. Are those VHS?
So this is like every single
All
movie.
the episodes.
Nay, this is going on your tapes.
Oh, okay. Look at everybody's taking pictures.
There will probably some VHS tapes somewhere in some of the boxes up top.
That's crazy. All these are movies and videos.
Renee's are cool. Making his own little...
Absolutely perfect.
Making his own movie.
Here's the movies, Joe.
Dragon Ball Z style.
Look, you want Fusion Reborn?
Oh my god.
Joe probably has about this many movies too.
I have every single
3mm film prints that we created the Blu-rays from. So this is literally the most original you could get in the U.S. of Dragon Ball Z. Doesn't get any more than that.
Wow.
And this is just the video.
Have those
There's a separate file.
projectors.
Yeah, that has the audio on it. I don't know if you want to grab one with them.
Yeah, there you go.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
It's funny because my roommate, he's an animator too.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be so jealous.
Sorry for the tight squeeze through here, guys.
You sound like Robin. Send that picture to Renee.
That's right here.
So jealous.
Sleeping Princess.
That's crazy.
We're gonna pop into this room
Where
real
it says
quick.
police crime scene?
That's
I
right.
don't think so.
Trust me, it's safe. It's all just drama
Oh,
around
check
here.
that out, dude, the way they have their stuff in the case. Whoa. That is tight. It's like, what is that, the waiting room?
No, it's a screening room, so
Oh.
where our voice directors
Yeah.
can look over some of the materials that we've finished recording. Let's see.
Halloween movies, Beetlejuice, the Monster Squad.
Not as much music stuff in this room as I think there is in this next one. Let me check this one. So yeah, here we go. This is kind of a neat room to see. We'll have to be very careful not to
Don't,
knock any
hit any
guitars
guitars.
over or anything like that, but you can kind of take a quick step in here. If you've seen any of our trailers that have appeared on our DVDs, one of the challenges we've got is we don't receive necessarily, U.S. marketing materials from our Japanese licensors, so they have to create all the trailers within this department. This room specifically creates all the music for all of those trailers, because when you're trying to put a piece of music together for a trailer, it needs to be about 15 or 30 seconds, maybe a minute at most, and it's got to really be impactful and strong. That's not necessarily always supplied in an episode where maybe a fight scene is 4 or 5 minutes long. These guys compose music that matches up with the TV show. They use all these guitars you see behind me, the different amps for different types of effects, and of course digitally they have quite a few effects as well. Anyway, there you go. Trailers here, Able Movies, Dragon Ball Z, all of the episodes that we do any kind of trailering
The
for,
Pokemon.
they create those here.
Pokemon 30 years. That's awesome.
That is cool.
That's the one you got when you pre-ordered.
I think this entire department dressed up as cereal boxes today.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Look, it's a Famicom.
I know, it's supposed to.
We have our mixes finalized. We put it together with the final video. We've created a broadcast version to go on television. Now what we're missing is packaging. That's what happens right here. Each one of these cubicles houses a different graphic artist that's in charge of, say, 8 to 10, and as they are here longer and longer, more and more brands. Each one of the posters that you see with any English on it around here, every DVD cover, anything printed comes from this group of artists. They take all of the original materials that are given to us by Japan, find ways to repurpose it, and create something that's original to the U.S. market. Right around the corner here, we'll see some examples of some of the work that they've done over the years. Every one of the posters that you see hanging against the wall here, all of the packaging that you see spread out on this counter and this book here, is all work that's been done by our group of artists here.
Don't you have that here?
Yeah, I came with Dragon Ball Z Connect. I did not get that one because we went to freaking Wingstore where I lost money that weekend. I did not have a chance to go see
He went to
Battle of
Winstar
Gods.
and lost his money. Didn't get no pink
Let me tell you what, that's a sad story. I hear a lot.
The
hair for the movie.
Battle of Gods,
Oh, that
especially
you
the
get
one
for
where the voice actor Goku was gonna be in Texas.
Right.
Somewhere
Over here at the Alamo Draft House?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good night.
He was
I bet
there.
it was.
It was a good time. Let's see. We'll head back down this direction, and now that we've finally got our packaging created, now the next step is to let the public know that it's available.
I didn't even know that's who made it. I mean, I probably remembered, but I don't remember. What? The one where they all had their signatures?
So a few minutes ago, we
They
kind of
donate
walked
those to
through the nerve
charities,
center
the ones
of the
that had their
production
folks'
department by
autographs.
being that main editing
donate
room
them
where
to
all the
charities.
decks were, the wires were going up into the ceiling. That's kind of the nerve center for the production side. Inside these glass windows here is the nerve center for the rest of the building. This is our IT department. So everything gets backed up. Every computer that we've got that's working that you've seen here all gets backed up in that room there. You've seen some empty cubicles here because these guys are able to make do with less as it's necessary for them from time to time. But all of these offices that line the wall that are currently closed, here's a kind of a neat display of a lot of the marketing materials they've come up with, things they've created and utilized. But this department's job is to basically let the public know what the new title is coming, is going to broadcast or coming out.
The bunny has a scouter.
Hold up.
Well, and a lot of the things you're seeing here are actually unique just to the marketing purposes. Oh yes, we're fusing over here.
Oh, God.
Actually, the happiness bunny from Shin-Chan here, I don't believe that was a mass created. Like, I think that might be the only one.
The only one ever?
I think so. He was a prototype that we ended up not going with.
Move, Renee, for punching.
For the picture, right? Does that mean they played that's the role?
No, it doesn't.
just put the-
They've been randomly chosen,
Oh.
basically, for each employee. I think the fact that Gen's nameplate has Goku on it is probably on purpose. They gave me.
Hold on, Joe. Let me take a picture.
But they gave Luffy away to someone else. Colleen didn't get that.
Hold on.
And lots of boxes.
Well, here's now, once you get this photo. All right, your next one. Hey, wait, go.
There you go.
All right, now
There you go, Joe.
There you go. Yeah, so you gotta get, you know how to do this.
You know how to do it, Joe.
You know how to do it, Joe.
Use your Goku. You have to
Right
go
with Goku. There you go. Boom. Now it's Joku.
They call me that.
Huh?
That's what we call
Anybody else
it.
want to get a picture with Goku?
Here,
before I
Joe.
move Piccolo?
Dan Renee does. If you want to be.
Yeah,
Or would you rather
Record.
fusion with Piccolo?
It's recording, is
I'll
it?
do the Piccolo.
Okay, got it. We'll move him around and I'll move Goku out of the way.
Come with me, Kakarot.
Now you gotta do your knees. The fusion won't work that way.
Uh-oh. Come out as a
Imperfection.
goofed up fusion.
You're gonna do fat.
Look at me.
This is all, and you guys can take a look, you can walk around. But believe it or not, in most ways this works is that a company like Funimation will hold the license for a particular title, but we don't necessarily have the manufacturing to create toys or generate t-shirts or posters and things like that. So we'll use other companies to create a lot of this stuff. And just like Mike was describing with the voice actors, these companies audition for us. They make product and they bring it over to our licensing team and decide whether or not the stuff passes muster. And if the licensing team likes it, then the public gets to see it. And if the licensing team doesn't like it, then we'll try again.
It's Frieza. I think that's Frieza. And that's Piccolo.
This looks like a big stack of
I think
t-shirts
you
to
may be
me.
right. I think it may be a Frieza.
Yeah, it's one of those hats, the
Oh,
Laplanders.
that's, check it out. They even have the
So-
Game Boy and
There,
the.
you're gonna be the
Some
Dende.
of
Look,
the
it's
old-
the other
some of
hat.
the
You little
old-
green.
Yeah, I think they have this stuff. Do
Oh,
y'all have these?
yeah, we
things?
have those.
I have the Legacy of Goku.
You have all these.
All of those. You even got that cell right there.
Oh yeah, I was about to say.
You
that.
got
I
what?
got that cell. He was the last one at H-Fest and I got him.
Oh, okay.
These are cool. Where's the gift shop at?
Can I? Can I have money right now? I want the Earth. I got to. Dang it. You got a key to your bag. What are you?
He made it himself, so.
I know it's not exciting to necessarily look at cubicles, but here's something you may not know that's kind of interesting. This right here is our home video department. It's our sales department. Believe it or not, but when a company like Funimation is trying to get our product into a store like Walmart, not only are we trying just to get it into the store, but we also have to figure out what shelf it goes on. So believe it or not, every DVD that's in there, the company that's put it there has paid not just to get it into the store, but to get it onto the shelf that it's currently at. Like, for instance, if you notice, when you go back to Walmart, take a look to see where Dragon Ball Z is. You'll notice it's usually on shelves about this level. There's a reason for that. It's because a lot of our first-time buyers of Dragon Ball Z are this tall, right? And that's why we want to put it that eye level. But it's interesting, when you guys go to the store, look to see the placement of where different, movies are. Those movies that get up towards the very front, those are your big releases that were at the theater, your Captain Americas and Avengers and things like that. And then smaller titles you'll start noticing are a little bit further back, maybe your television titles or things like that. But there's a whole process to all of that, and so our sales department knows that whole process and has worked with it for years and are able to kind of navigate those waters. But I never knew, as a fan of just movies and media and TV shows growing up, that there was this much thought that went into the placement of the product actually on the shelf. Literally every spot on a shelf is real estate. Just like you'd be buying real estate when you go to buy a house for the first time, it's the same thing when you're shopping or trying to shop your merchandise into a store like a Walmart or a Target or a Best Buy, things like that. And of course, in the modern day and age, these guys have really had to kind of kick it up a notch, because those type stores, we call them brick and mortar stores, because of the brick and mortar. Now everything is online, and so they're finding new ways to generate that audience coming from Hulu and Netflix and Funimation.com, Crunchyroll, and the others. So it's certainly a changing landscape, and it's always on the move. So there you go. Kind of an interesting little background there. Dramas, yes, and things like that. So we're dabbling in that right now. You had brought up some original animations, and actually Funimation has had 2 different original animations, but the art was animated over in Japan. One of them was called Dragon Age, and the other one, which I think there's a poster in that cubicle, was a movie from Mass Effect. And both of those movies are original stories created by the employees here at Funimation, but animated over in Japan, and then the dialogue and audio all taken care of.
Hey, look, it's that guy.
Right, we were at the beginning of the tour, and
She wants to take a picture with the little man.
let me turn some lights on here, and we will make that happen.
We want to speak over.
I have to find the light switches, so excuse me for not
Hold on,
knowing
he's
where
in
they
there. He has to find the light switch.
Give me just a
Oh, Mary
second.
wants a picture of Shin-Chan.
Is that who? That's Chim Chan? The Shin
The little short guy.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second, we'll get you some light for a better picture. I just have to.
The show's still going.
It's so funny though.
Yeah, I know. It's like.
It's not for children. Let's just say.
Yeah, it's
Let's,
not.
let's just say that.
Yeah, it's
No,
not.
there's
It's not.
children.
My goodness. I'm kind of embarrassed. I don't know where the lights are.
You want them clappers.
Clap
Right?
on.
That's what we need, a clapper.
Hey, do you have a flash and you can...
There we go.
Hey.
He found them. He found them. Don't worry, he found them.
They had so many icons everywhere.
Oh,
You know beans.
hold on, I'm beans.
Yeah, the other two are on wheels, and so it's not uncommon for people to find an Alphonse in their office.
I like that one.
Yeah, I want to be
I've
with
seen
this
like
guy.
3 of them. He's so tall. I didn't know he was so tall.
I don't weigh that much.
You're fine to stand up there.
See?
Totally fine. You were invited to stand up there.
Jordan's like taking a selfie with him. Okay, go. Go ahead. Mary will get you one. Can you send it to her?
Yeah.
Take your time,
You're
video.
supposed to be happy to hug him or
It's
something.
the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the TV games.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can hug him.
The plug and play.
Of this.
Joe, pose it. It's like a picture you pose.
I'm getting a freaking selfie with Piccolo.
Kissing that guy.
I get a picture.
How about-
For you, I appreciate you. I would go trick or treating if they'd give me candy instead of just throwing
All
me
you
off
gotta do
their
is wear a
porch.
mask. They don't know how old you are if you
Use
have a
my
mask
higher
on.
voice. Hi, it's Dende.
Yeah, I'll be like, candy,
Please,
candy.
can I have some treats? Well, guys, happy Halloween, and thank you so
Thank you.
much for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right.
Anytime.
It was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
I know
too.
things.
We'll come back again.
We'll see you
Yeah,
soon.
we'll be back.
All right. See you again as well, I hope. Good to see
Yes,
you.
well, you're gonna see us all.
Yes. That handshake business is for someone else.
All right.
Thanks, guys,
Thank
so
you.
much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You too.
Thanks for making the big kid.
Where's my bag?
I'm not even opening this. I know it sounds